Greetings! Thank you for lending an ear to the voice of the times for Saturday, July 9, 2022. For today's editorial, doing things in the right order. It is important to view the actions of President objectively and critically when necessary. But the criticism leveled at the President from some quarters over his first two executive orders or EO shows that some are exerting greater efforts to find reasons to be offended than they are understanding the actual substance and context of presidential decisions. On June 30, shortly after being sworn into office, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. signed EO1 and EO2, which were only made public on Thursday and now have been published as required by a law in the newspaper of general circulation are now in force. EO1 reorganized the office of the President by, among other things, abolishing the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission or PACC and the office of Cabinet Secretary. EO2, on the other hand, reset the presidential communications machinery to its pre-2010 state, abolishing the Duterte-era Presidential Communications Operations Office or PCOO and rolling most of the relevant functions into a streamlined Office of the Press Secretary or OPS. In both cases, the objective was to eliminate redundancy in the Malacanang organization and the President said as much in the text of the two orders. In the EO1, Marcos explained, in the face of current health and fiscal crisis, the administration endeavors to achieve a comprehensive and meaningful recovery through a just allocation of resources and a simplified internal management and governance of the Office of the President and its immediate offices and common staff support system. From an external viewpoint, the moves made by the President were the exact, long overdue prescription for offices that appeared superfluous and politically questionable. The office of Cabinet Secretary in practice only duplicated functions that are more properly and more effectively carried out by the office of the Executive Secretary and the Presidential Management Staff. In concept, it was nothing more than a high-level political patronage post, absorbing a great deal of public resources for no real purpose other than to reward a political ally of the President. The PACC was likewise redundant and even more politically suspect. Created in 2017, it was intended to directly assist the President in investigating and hearing administrative cases primarily involving graft and corruption against all presidential appointees, but it was perceived accurately, we believe, as a means for the President to constrain the work of the Office of the Ombudsman in investigating administration officials. As President Marcos pointed out, the President already has the power to discipline erring officials whose offices fall under presidential authority, and any such assistance as he needs can be provided by the existing Office of the Deputy Executive Secretary for Legal Affairs. The dissolution of the PCOO is also welcome because it does away with what was an unwieldy and frustrating structure for Palace Communications that had at least two heads. There was the PCOO Secretary himself, formerly Martin Andanar, and presidential spokesman with a separate office, one that was fitting with a revolving door that produced a number of colorful characters as mouthpieces for the President. As an efficient organization, critics that have expressed disappointment in President Marcos's first two EOs, expecting something more than mere housekeeping, are missing an important point. In order to carry out his duties properly and implement policies and programs, the President must be supported by an efficient organization. And as President Marcos noted, since this organization necessarily exists at public expense, it should be as lean as reasonably possible. Thus, while some public observers might have wished for some grander or more profound pronouncement among the first management decisions of the new president, the more mundane steps to get his own office in order before proceeding further were the correct ones for him to take. Of course, it should be emphasized that streamlining an organization is not an end in itself. The organization must now perform effectively in order for the benefits to be realized, which places a great deal of expectation on the two officials chiefly responsible in this case, Executive Secretary Vic Rodriguez and Press Secretary Trixie Cruz Angeles. We wish them well and hope that their results reflect the confidence with which they seem to be approaching their new duties. And that's the editorial for Saturday, July 9, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the voice of the Times.
Our longest trusted English newspaper since 1898. Now available digitally. Computer. Order the Manila Times Digital Edition. Subscribed. Get the Manila Times Digital Edition for less than 2 pesos and 50 centavos per day when you sign up for 1 year. The Manila Times, news source of choice, trusted since 1898.